Who likes to be grateful for what they already have? Any takers? Okay. Who likes to be grateful for things they don't have yet? All right. We got enough. That's your lesson. We're done. All right. One last question, and I want you to be honest. Who woke up this morning 1 hour earlier than they should have? Okay. Dare I say, who showed up to the church 1 hour earlier? You would have found out by then, right? Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, this is our month of gratitude. Surprise, surprise, this is the month that we celebrate, what's that thing called? Thanksgiving, right? So let's go. I like to, before that even, and you may not see this as a show of gratitude, but I'd like to acknowledge there's a handful of countries that celebrate something called El Día de los Muertos. Who here might be celebrating that? Day of the Dead, by the way, whoever doesn't realize that. And that actually goes in line with a more Catholic, I guess, thing called All Souls Day that follows All Saints Day. So today is All Souls Day too. So there's something to that, right? They had to kind of get things together so that it will work between the, I'm going to say, the ancient communities and the Europeans. So whatever works, right? We got to be grateful for everything. So I'd like to start off by quoting Derek Riddle in his book, The Abundance Project. He says that an attitude of gratitude is the foundation of abundance. An affirmation that the gift has already been given, that we already have something to be grateful for. And it is true, right? We already have everything that we could possibly want or need. Tell me the truth. Do you believe that? Yes. Okay. I didn't hear yes from everybody, so that's good. We'll work on it, right? Why do you think I'm saying that we have everything that we already could want, could need? Very simple. We call ourselves children of God, right? What do we say about God? God is everything, God is everywhere, right? All powerful. If you are a child of the all powerful, the all knowing, would it make sense that maybe you have some of that also, right? As we call it in Unity, our second principle, you have that spark of the divine in you. And if you are a child of that God, that all-knowing presence, that source, that divine source, in truth, you already have everything that you could possibly ever need. How many believe that right now? And how many are saying, you're full of? Well, hopefully by the end of this, you might come to maybe be a little more open to it, right? Let me start by mentioning somebody that we talk about a lot over here. Who might that be? Jesus. All right. Yeah. Good answer, though. I like that. Charles, yeah. Charles O'Merrill Fillmore, who co-founded Unity. And yes, we talk about them a lot. But Unity is based on what they did plus the teachings of Jesus, right? And Jesus, what do we know of Jesus? He gave thanks in advance for every miracle that he performed. And I'll give you a couple of examples, and that I know you've heard of before. Of course, the one is when he fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Who do you think can make that last to feed 5,000 people? I know I can't, right? Not in the physical anyway, right? So in Matthew 14, the story is in Matthew 14, 13 through 21. And in that story, we hear that he says that he took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looked up to the sky, to heaven, and gave thanks before divvying up everything. The other one is when he raised Lazarus from the dead. We read in John 11, 38 through 44 that in the middle of that he says, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. This is before he even said anything or said, Lazarus, get up, walk out. He gave thanks in advance. Are you starting to get the idea? If you give thanks in advance, you are basically accepting that what you're asking for is already done. Thank you for that. That is already with you. Let's think of something. When you want something, the usual, I think all of us would appreciate a little more money, right? And one of the teachings that we have here in Unity is that if you want something, you should give it, right? Now, how can you give something you don't have, you might be saying, right? The truth is we all have something, right? Whatever it is, that little bit that you might have, as you give, you get back. And for those of you that practice tithing here, you may have noticed that even though in the natural, if you will, the math might not work out, once you start giving, somehow things come your way. The money that you need is there. I've said this a long time ago when I started tithing and really practicing it. I started stretching myself a little bit. And before I knew it, I realized I would look back at my finances and I had been making more money than I was when I first started. It just kind of happened. You know, there were many things, of course, that take place, but it happened. I had to have that faith that as I gave, I would receive also. And that's not just for money, right? And it's not just for material things. You've heard us say before, if you want to be loved, you must love first, right? Not only must you love first, not anybody else out there, but who should you be showing love, appreciation to begin with before you can give it to anybody else? Yourself, right? If you don't give yourself compassion, understanding, love, self-care, how could you help anybody else, right? It goes back to you cannot give what you do not have. I'm reminded of Dr. Wayne Dyer. He had a nice example about if you squeeze an orange, what comes out of it? Orange juice, right? You don't get coffee out of it, right? So whatever it is that you want to give, you must have within you first. If you want love, be love. If you want compassion, be compassionate to others. If you want others to help you, what should you be doing? Helping others, right? That sounds like a very simple example, simple formula, if you will. How come it's so hard for us to do it, though? Because we're locked into the material that, going back to the money, if I have $1 and I give it to you, then I don't have the dollar anymore, right? But the truth is, in the spiritual realm, I'm going to call it God is working his way around that. And when you give to somebody something, you don't necessarily get that something from that same person, right? It might be somebody else that out of the blue, he's like, hey, I was thinking about this and that, and I need to give you this. Show of hands, I'm just curious. Has anybody had that experience? Wonderful. I'm in the right place here. I knew I came here to the right place this morning. That's good. And it doesn't matter, I did not wake up an hour earlier. I made sure of that. So yes, you need to act as if whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you want, you already have. A simple way, be grateful for it. When you're grateful for it, you're showing that you indeed already have it. I like to add also, believe it or not, one of the 12 powers that we're working with for this month, as you know, the 12 powers from Charles Fillmore. This month we're practicing the power of renunciation or elimination. And that is the ability to release, to let go. And in Charles Fillmore's revealing word, yes, I'm talking about him now. He says that renunciation is a letting go of old thoughts in order that the new thoughts may find a place in consciousness. A simple visual, right? If I am holding something in my hand, or both hands for that matter, and you want to give me something, what must I do for it to be able to receive it? I must let go what I have, right? And we need not worry about what's going to happen to that thing that you let go. The truth is, everything that we ever will need is all around us. And it's just a matter of becoming aware that what we want, that what we need, that we desire, is just a thought away. And yes, we use the thoughts together with our feelings. You've heard me say it before, God doesn't speak English or French or Spanish or any other language, right? God understands energy, feelings. When you put feeling behind something, that's when you truly manifest things. So be grateful that you can speak the word and feel the word. And when you release those negative thoughts, you are apt to receive those positive things that should be coming your way. And another way of using release, believe it or not, is forgiveness. When you forgive, what you're really doing is letting go of ill feelings, letting go of resentments, letting go of things that no longer serve you. I'm being kind of split right now as to where I want to go with this. I'll just say it. You all know, it's been just about 3 years now. I've been free and clear of cancer. And when that came up, when I was diagnosed, of course that had been coming for years before and I just didn't know it. All I knew this, and even though I'm not a big guy, I just kept losing weight. Every year I just lost more and more weight. And I had no idea why, and I was doing everything possible to gain the weight, and it would not happen. When I got diagnosed and I started looking at how can I be healed, how can I heal myself, how can I let others heal me, one of the things that came up, because I want to look at everything holistically, is that things like cancer come from holding resentment. Anybody here holding any resentment right now? I suggest you let it go right now. But it came to me that that was probably true, that I was holding resentment most of my life, and you've heard me say it before, yes. I had a rough childhood with my dad. But you've also heard me say that I am very grateful that I experienced what I experienced with him. Because that made me the person I am right now. One of the things that after realizing that holding resentment is like, yeah, I'm probably still, even though I had been working on things with my dad for a while, I was still holding resentment about things that happened with him. And there are a couple other people that I can throw in there too. But I started working on all that, and yes, I did everything, and I let the Western medicine help me too, and everything. And I know by releasing all that, after the surgery and everything, I came back, I knew. I actually had a vision that when they were looking through me, that it was completely clean. I actually had seen that vision in some meditation that I had done like a year or two before that happened. And that made me realize that you need to keep your thoughts clean. Don't hold anything. You've heard it said before, right? When we hold grudges against somebody, is that hurting the other person or is it hurting you? Right? And I think we can all understand that because when you're holding a grudge against somebody, isn't there like a tightness somewhere in your body? Right? Wherever that tightness is, guess what? That's the part of your body that you're not helping. You need to release any resentments. You need to be, yes, grateful that you are noticing that you have resentment towards somebody or towards something. When you focus on something, you know that's what you bring about, right? So instead of focusing on the resentment, on how upset you are with something or someone, release it and start being grateful that they are showing you what you could be working on. I am grateful that I went through everything that I went through. Without that, I would not be here talking to you, literally. And I am grateful that I knew enough to start working on myself many years ago. And one of the things, and I did this in a similar, when somebody goes through something hard or through a massive, major challenge, a person that goes through that normally is the person that turns around and starts helping people with the same issues, right? And it's something similar to what happened to me. The way it came up for me is that for the longest I kept thinking, I don't have a purpose in my life. What is my purpose? And I kept trying different things. And yes, when I went and started my spiritual work, I knew that I was on the right path. And the first time that it came up for me, and I hope I'm not forgetting it, Edwin Gaines' book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Success, I think she calls them, or of Prosperity, thank you. There's a chapter there that says, finding your purpose. And when I got to that chapter, I'm like, I'm going to do this. I knew there were a couple of exercises to do that, and I did them. And guess what? I got my purpose. My purpose, the way it came out for me at that point was, I am going to help others find their purpose because it took me forever to find mine. And in a way, I'm still doing that, right? Because I'm helping us be aware that we are in the divine, that we need to be grateful that the divine is never apart from us. All we have to do is become aware of it, be present to it. And on that note, I'd like to end with a beautiful poem I ran into while doing my research here. It's from Melody Lynn Beatty, who's an American author, well, was an American author that did self-help books on codependency. And she, of course, had her own issues, and that's where she became to help those codependent people and whatnot. The name of the poem is called Gratitude. And I'd like you take you into this, and then we'll flow into meditation. So if you could humor me, I want you to really take in what I'm saying. And I would like if you would close your eyes and just really picture every word that I am reading to you right now. Gratitude. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. It turns problems into gifts, failures to successes, the unexpected into perfect timing, and mistakes into important events. It can turn an existence into a real life, and disconnected situations into important and beneficial lessons. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. Let's go into meditation. If you haven't closed your eyes, you may do so. Just keep relaxing right when you are where you are. Maybe if you're thinking about these words you just heard, just think about how you can be grateful for what you've just heard in this poem that you can take with you. And whenever you're worried about something, how can you change that to be grateful for what is coming, which in truth is already with you? Keep holding on to this feeling. I want you to become aware of any sensations whatsoever in your body right now. If it is a discomfort, just acknowledge it, become aware of it, and be okay with it. You are experiencing exactly what you are supposed to experience right here, right now, in this moment. I would like us to do something right now that goes in line with how you give and receive gratitude. And this, we can think of it as receiving and giving life. And as you're able, I want you to focus on a conscious inhale and a conscious exhale. And we'll do that for a little bit. Just follow me. Inhale, exhale, and let's just keep going. Let yourself be right here, right now. As you think of those desires that you want for your life, and just think for yourself that you have it right here, right now, in this moment. And all you need to do is to become aware of it. Whatever it may be, maybe bring to mind any thoughts, any feelings about it. If it's something that you smell, just smell the smells. If it is something that you taste, go ahead and feel the taste there. I want you to keep holding on to this and picture yourself sharing it with the community around you, with the world around you, as we go into the silence. And as you're holding on to this thought, consider what it is that you want to be in the world. And I want us to chant, I am. And just think to yourself whatever word comes for you to be. I'll start with the chant and then you can join me. I am. Together. I am. I am love. I am compassion. I am the light. I am abundance. I am a welcoming hand. I am that helping hand. I am as God created me. I am a child of God. And as you slowly start coming back, hold on to that I am for you and know that you can share it with the community, with the world, with the globe around, all over the world. For those that you love and those that you might find not too loving. Take this with you the rest of the day, the rest of the week. We accept this and we are grateful for this in and through the name and the power of Jesus Christ. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.